Hello, and welcome back to First Love Yourself, where love, life, and Christ combine. So, for those of you that are new here, go ahead and hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. In today's video, we are going to talk about expectations. Should you set expectations? What are expectations? Your expectations, etc. But before we really get into it, get comfortable. Go ahead and relax your mind because we are about to get into it. Let's go. So, why are we talking about expectations? Earlier today, I was thinking about how we set expectations for our life, and we might have different standards and boundaries. And I know that some people have unrealistic expectations. They may think they want one thing to happen or another thing. They want one person to act a certain way or do things a certain way. They want to be a certain thing, and they have these unrealistic expectations for themselves and other people. And sometimes that shows up in a way where it looks like they may say, I want a guy who has a six pack. They don't work out at all. And they're expecting this person to be something that they're not. They may say, I want someone who's consistent. And you consistently have not been on schedule, not reached any of your goals, not even attempted to reach any of your goals, but you want this person to be consistent. But you yourself are not consistent. It may also show up in a way where you're like, I want someone who's 6 foot. You like 5 foot on a good day with heels, right? And you be like, and I'm not saying that you got to be 6 foot because you want this person to be 6 foot, and that's just a preference also. But also, it's an unrealistic expectation. I think that we kind of have to be honest and real with ourselves and say, what are we doing in our lives? Because you can you can want a lot of things from someone else, but until you really are that person, you're not going to reflect those things back to you. You're not the person that you're with that you accept is going to be a reflection of who you are. So if you're being intentional, that person's going to be intentional because you accepted them because you know they have intentionality. If you are someone who is consistently reaching for your goal, you're doing small things every day to be headed towards the goal that you want, then the person that you're with will be consistent as well because that's the person you accept. If you are 6 foot, you don't have to be with a 6 foot person. You can be with who you want to be with. I don't know why we have this expectation out there for 6 foot. I don't know what that's about. Did someone like, I feel like this is going to sound so silly, but for any person that's ever watched Legally Blonde, do you remember that one part of the episode? Okay, let's not phrase this into a question. In one part of the episode, or in one part of the movie, she says that she's going to law school. And one of the professors says, I think she just woke up one day and said, I want to be a lawyer. I feel like that's how the 6 foot thing happened. I feel like one person woke up one day and was like, I want a guy to 6 foot. And everybody else was just like, 6 foot is the criteria. I don't know if that actually happened, but it's got to be something like that because I don't even know where that came from. We are not all 6 foot. We are all different shapes, sizes, heights, everything. So somebody's 5'11", you're gonna say, nah, I don't know if I could be with this person because they're not 6 feet. Like, what if they 6'1"? What if they I'm just in my head, that's how I think of it. That's why I don't care about the height thing. Because I feel like a person's character and their values, their core values is more important than their height. And I'm not that tall anyways. Like if I was like a tall person, I probably would just date shorter people anyways, because I know I'm super tall. But I'm not even that tall anyways. So what does it look like me saying, oh yeah, I'm like 5'5" or whatever, and saying I want a 6 foot person that I could wear 6-inch heels and be nowhere near that height. Like that doesn't even make any sense to me. But that's my personal preference or idea. Like I really don't have no preference on the height thing. It's what it is what it is. It really is. Unless, the only thing that I would be like about is if somebody was like super duper short and I had neck issues, because it'd be like something that has to do with my health, something like that, or someone that was super duper tall, because then I get a crook in my neck from doing this or doing this all day. That would be the only time that it would be like an issue, because it's my real health that's a concern, not because I have a preference on it. It's literally because I care about my health. And so I think that we just have to take a moment and really think about what it is that we want in life. And I have this quote that I found online. I don't know who says it. It says unknown, but I think it's a good rule of thumb for us going forward. You can take what you need, chew out the rest, spit out the bones, whatever you got to do for this. But the quote says, expect nothing, appreciate everything. I know you're probably thinking you got to expect something. No, I think you should have healthy standards and boundaries for the things that you actually want and need. Because you being able to put your foot down, you being able to have accountability or set intentions for someone, you being able to be intentional in your life is a necessity, right? That might be something that is needed, but you can't expect someone to be something that you're not. You can't expect someone to reach some unrealistic expectation that you have in your head, because that's not reality. And a lot of the times we will think of things that we want, but it's not the things that we actually need for our lives. So you have to be real with yourself and say, do I want this because I was watching this old show on TV and that's why I want this car, this man, this job, this thing? Because, growing up, you see people in cubicles and you're like, oh, I want to work in a cubicle. You don't even know what the job entails. You want to work in a cubicle. You all stressed out because you're working long hours and everything else because you saw it on TV. You didn't even realize it was penetrating your mind, that it was causing your thought process to go a little differently than what you would have had or wanted or needed for your life, just because you saw something somewhere else. And it's funny, I really like this kind of car. And I realized this is the same type of car that the girl wanted on a show that I used to watch growing up. Middle school, high school, I used to love this show, be watching it, everything. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is my favorite car. I don't have no reason why I like this car. I just really like this car. And I go to look back. You know how one of these days, you have the days where you go back and you look at an old episode. I need to stop asking rhetorical questions. But anyways, so I had a day where I wanted to go back and look at old episodes. And as I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, this is the car that she wanted. I didn't even realize that had penetrated my mind. I didn't even realize that was something that had been embedded in me from that young, just from watching a TV show. And we like to pretend like the things that we watch, the things that we listen to, what we give our ear gates, our eye gates to has nothing to do with our personality, has nothing to do with the person that we're becoming. But those things can really change the trajectory of our lives. They can change the direction of our lives. And instead of us going on an uphill trajectory, we end up declining, or we end up staying stagnant because we have these unrealistic expectations that we received from a picture on TV or from music that we heard growing up. And we like to pretend like it's so harmless. But even the Bible says, be careful what you lend your ear and your eye gates to. Sorry, I need to definitely put some WD-40 on this chair. And usually I just sit in the little soft chair. That's why I sit on that one, because, this is a whole thing. But anyways, I just want us to start being mindful of the things that we are expecting in life. You should have a goal. You should set a goal for your life. You should do small things every day that you really want to achieve so that you can reach your big, hairy, audacious goal one day. You should have standards and boundaries, healthy standards and boundaries for your life, things that will protect you from people that will try to use you or hurt you, or people that are not right for your life. You should really use the power of discernment and ask God, okay, is this person supposed to be there, or should they be removed? Allow God to remove and add people into your life. Accept the people who God adds so that they can help you in that season of your life. And also, don't accept your fantasy as a reality. Don't expect these unrealistic expectations to be the status quo, because that is just a thought. That is not reality. So make sure that you're being real with yourself, that you're really understanding what it is that you actually want. So if you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great night.